You're listening to Compete Radio.
Welcome. This is Buddy Early with your Compete Sports News Brief, brought to you by Sideline Sports Bar in Fort Lauderdale. Join Team Sidelines for this year's Florida AIDS Walk. The Green Bay Packers' 31-25 Super Bowl win last Sunday was seen by an estimated 111 million television viewers. That makes it the most watched television program of all time, beating last year's Super Bowl broadcast, which has supplanted the 1983 MASH finale as the most watched program. And of course, that 111 million figure does not even take into account people who watch the Super Bowl at sports bars, like I did. Of course, there's no telling when the next NFL game will be played. That's because owners and players are approaching a March 4th deadline for a new collective bargaining agreement. If they do not come to terms, we're looking at a potential lockout, folks. Negotiations have stalled in recent months because of a few key factors. Team owners say the business model is broken and are seeking to get an additional $1 billion in what are called cost credits. Basically, the owners want a bigger share of the pie. You see, the owners currently receive $1 billion off the top of generated revenues, and then players receive 59.5% of the remaining revenue. But owners are seeking an additional $1 billion off the top. The players' union is simply hoping to maintain the status quo. Also holding up negotiations is the owners' push for an 18-game schedule. The players' union thinks the current 16-game schedule is just fine. Management also wants to get a handle on skyrocketing rookie salaries, which may be the only thing both sides can compromise on. Now, while these negotiations are playing out, folks in Los Angeles are a step closer to having professional football return to their city for the first time since 1995, when the Rams and Raiders bolted. On Tuesday, city leaders announced a 30-year, $700 million naming rights deal for a fast-track stadium project, believed to be the first step in luring one of the NFL's existing 32 teams to L.A. Consensus is that it will be the struggling Jacksonville Jaguars franchise that will relocate, but rumors are also still swirling that the San Diego Chargers will make the move up I-5. Finally, 7 individuals will be inducted into 2011 NFL Hall of Fame, led by Colts and Rams running back Marshall Faulk. Joining him are cornerback Deion Sanders, defensive end Richard Dent, linebackers Chris Hanberger and Les Richter, tight end Shannon Sharp, and filmmaker Ed Sable. They'll be inducted on August 6th later this year. Well, that's it for now. I'll be back later in the show with some more Compete Sports news brought to you by Sideline Sports Bar in Fort Lauderdale.
Compete Radio.
Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Josh Fourier. Compete Radio is brought to you by Steel Gym. It's the only real gym in New York City. Here with Alfonso Chavez, Connie Wardman, and of course Eric Carlisle. A little later in the show is Joey Jacinto. He's going to be in for an in-studio interview. Wow, Super Bowl weekend. I'll tell you what, that was, I don't think I've ever had more calories over that weekend.
By the way, I'm still here too.
Hi, buddy.
Oh, hi, buddy.
Thank you for the news.
Sitting in, you're very welcome. Glad to do it.
So yeah, I was watching parts of the game. I mean, I don't know. I was stuffing my face. Connie?
Well, no, I was crying into my terrible towel because anybody who listens to us knows that I'm a Steeler fan at heart, but I think I needed a crying towel. It was sad.
Yeah, where's that Steelers sweatshirt today, Connie?
Oh, he knows how to rub salt in the wound. What can I tell
Connie,
you?
you do look very nice, though. Gorgeous.
Thank you. Well, it's kind of Green Bay Packer-ish, maybe. A little gold, a little green, whatever.
Is that a shawl?
Yes, and I'm going to knit in the corner a little bit or tat lace or something. No, it's a scarf.
Hey, I thought it was a good game. I mean, I'm not much into sports, but it was close. It was a close game.
It was a good game.
Speaking of the Super Bowl, this week in Sports Pop, of course, we have some Super Bowl issues we need to talk about. We're going to go to Alfonso, who's going to open that up for us with Sports Pop.
Sports Pop. Sports Pop. Sports Pop. Sports Pop.
Alfonso's doing the robot with his new theme song. It's kind of like Moby, right? Like 90s-esque.
Okay. It's kind of something. It's a little robotic.
Yeah.
Robo
Pop.
intro something.
Sports pop.
Okay.
What's up, Alfonso?
Well, we know that in China, it's the year of the rabbit, but according to many Super Bowl's viewers, it's the year of the fail. Characteristics of the year of the fail include wrong words sung in the national anthem, a letdown performance by the first under 40 music group in a few years, a lower amount of good commercials, and poorer than usual ratings for the post-game TV show. The mascot for the year of the fail, like every Chinese year has a mascot or an animal. Well, the year of the fail's mascot is Ben Roethlisberger, quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh,
Yeah, he
gosh.
did not have a good game on Sunday.
Yeah. But, it was interesting because I talked to somebody who said no matter how good he was, they didn't want him to win just because of his behavior. So that's
I think that's the case with a lot of people. A lot of people did not want him to achieve any more glory than he already has. He
Yeah.
has 2 Super Bowl rings already. But the whole week, and I think it's what Alfonso was alluding to, there were problems in Dallas with the weather, with a taxi
Yes.
cab strike, and then
Even God had his hand in the disasters.
there was falling ice from Cowboy Stadium, which I believe injured about 8 people.
yeah, and then the chair debacle.
The ticket fiasco, which fiasco?
fiasco.
That's a combination of fiasco and debacle.
You know what? I think nature is telling us to never hold a Super Bowl in Dallas again. I
Well,
think that's what's going on.
I think what we can take from this is that in 2014, when the Super Bowl was scheduled to be in the new Meadowlands Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey,
Is
there
that
could
with
be
or
some
without
problems.
Jimmy
It's
Hoffa?
going to be similar, isn't it?
I don't know if they dug him up with it and moved him to the new stadium or
Oh,
not.
I hope so.
That's an
Maybe
outdoor
he's
stadium.
the new mascot.
And so these weather concerns, this was unusual weather for Dallas, but still,
It was.
it's a look into what could be waiting for us in a few years. And when New York, the Jets and the Giants host the Super Bowl in their stadium, it's not going to be cute.
I think the biggest fail around here was Josh's invitation to his Super Bowl party. I mean, did you guys notice that he spelled the big game Gayme? I mean, come on, Josh, even you know that much about sports.
I didn't notice that because I did not get an invitation.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
There weren't very many that got the invitation.
yes.
But so the Super Bowl in Dallas. Okay, this was a huge deal with Christina Aguilera. People ripped her to shreds.
Yeah.
People were not happy about this.
No, I mean, so what do you guys think? Do you think it's a disgrace? Do you think it's the end of her career? Do you think that it was just an accident? She was nervous.
Well, it's definitely not the end of her career, because
absolutely.
if burlesque didn't do it, messing up a few words in the national anthem won't do it. And I know a lot of people are upset because we all take pride in our national anthem, and there's a lot of patriotism that goes behind it, but it still isn't Roseanne Barr singing it.
Yeah.
God,
And
that
I'm a
was-
huge fan of Roseanne Barr, but
that was bad.
yeah.
I did not know about it till later in the evening because I was at a loud sports bar and wasn't really paying that close attention. Until later in the evening, someone told me that she had messed up the words. I think most people, we're almost a week later. I think most people are over it. And her fans are going to be her fans, I think.
Sure.
I know that where I was at, everyone was screaming to put the Christina in a bottle. So who knows? Everyone has a different opinion on it.
Was it a hermetically sealed mayonnaise jar or what?
Yeah, a lot of people, I mean, with the blogs and everything, a lot of people, even on Sirius, the 20 on 20 in the morning, they were talking about how it's just absolutely disgraceful what she did, making it this huge deal. And it's like, is it really?
No, I think people need to get off it. If you have ever been called on to perform, whether it's standing up in a classroom to recite something, but when you're put on the spot and you have thousands of fans looking at you, anybody can have
Millions,
true. You can have one of those moments where everything goes blank and you know it, and it goes away.
And that's the thing. It's not a matter of Christina Aguilera not preparing or not taking it seriously. Of course she did. We know that. It's a matter of her being on the biggest stage in the world, and she's human.
Yeah.
And she messed up.
Well, aside from her messing up, What did you guys think of her voice? Did she sound okay?
I thought she sounded awesome. I mean, a lot of people said there was some over embellishment
Yes.
of the song, which, you know what, everybody, not everybody, but most people who sing the national anthem at an event like that, they typically over embellish the song.
Whitney Houston?
Her
you know what, she's the
rendition was
person,
the best.
but that was 1991, and having, do you think she could repeat that today?
Well, no.
Her, no.
Yeah, but
You know,
I'm thinking if we're going to hold her to the same standards, let's do the same thing with the players.
Well,
them singing the national anthem.
No, I mean mistakes.
We'll get to that later. Though.
Yes. Well,
Does anybody know?
I really, as a musician, it just drives me crazy. You can add an embellishment here and there, but when the entire piece is an embellishment, it loses what it originally set out to be. And the sign of good musicianship is being able to hit a note true and stick with it. And it's not about you and your performance. It's about you presenting an important national anthem for everybody to be one with.
Does anybody know how long it took her to sing? Because this is one of the things that the Vegas odds makers had put a line on. It was
kidding.
a minute and 50 seconds, over or under, and they were taking bets on it. Would she go over a minute and 50 seconds, or would she be under?
I think it was
Oh,
under
good
a minute
grief.
50. I think it
Even
was.
with her repeating phrases.
Right.
I thought RuPaul was actually going to sing the national anthem this year, so I was pretty much disappointed.
Paul.
Well,
Oh, geez.
you know, speaking of the odds, did you see that the odds makers, the casinos, lost money on the bets this year?
Well, what I had heard actually is that the amount of money they made was the lowest amount. It was less
Like
than
in
$1 million
10 years or something.
It was like $700,000, which was the lowest amount in God
Poor
knows how long.
babies.
Yeah.
Maybe we need to take up a collection.
Yeah, we only have a couple minutes left. We have 1 minute left, actually. But I can't let this go without at least mentioning the whole seating fiasco. That was huge news, too. I mean, these people bought airline tickets, hotel rooms, spent hundreds of dollars on their ticket to get into the game. They get there, and their ticket, no good. No seat available. They had to wait and watch on the monitors. I mean,
Which they couldn't even see,
what
really.
a mess. I would be furious.
It
They're
was-
suing now, right?
Well, it was about 1,250 ticket holders who weren't able to sit in their seats. 800 were misplaced, 400 were put outside, and now they're suing because these people spent $100,000 on season tickets hoping to get a Super Bowl seat that they didn't even get.
Well, and the
That-
people who
that is
pay
insane.
scalpers over and above.
Yeah. That was insane. Up next, we do have Joey Jacinto. He'll be in the studio. Log on to CompeteRadio.com. We'll be right back with more. Stay with us.
Compete Radio. Log on to CompeteRadio.com.
The idea of Athlon came about because my master swimmers, who often work 12 hours a day, wake up very early, come swim, train really hard in the morning, have to take care of their families, and just are exhausted and have a hard time finding the energy to come back again the next day or to even want to go to work. They try to sneak in a snack with Cliff Bar or Power Bar, and how they just get filled up by it. It doesn't actually provide any nutrition or energy for them. So I took about 2 years, did a lot of research, tried a lot of different things, came across chia seeds, which are amazing, came to the conclusion that putting it in a bar is the best option. So, therefore, Athlon Bar was made. Right now, the bars are only sold online. You can go to the website, www.athlonbars.com.
Gentlemen, you booked your hotels on Orbitz. Well, the price went down, so you're all getting a check for the difference. Yeah, thanks. Except for you. You didn't book with Orbitz. You're not getting a check. Well, I think we've all learned a valuable lesson today. Good day, gentlemen.
Thank you. Introducing Hotel Price Assurance, where if another Orbitz customer books the same hotel for less, we send you a check for the difference automatically.
Listen up! The three most important things in my life are God, family, and the Green Bay Packers. That's my better half, Marie. She's no pushover. How else could she have stayed married to me for the last 20 years? Presses hard on me because I push my players to the brink. But they sing a different song when we win on Sundays. They all know that winning isn't everything. It's the only thing.
Lombardi on Broadway. More than just the game.
Do Do you love sports? Are you competitive? Do you like to connect with others like you? Then you need to know about Compete Magazine, the only international gay sports magazine. Get up close and personal with national sports figures, pop icons, and local heroes, all in the pages of Compete Magazine. To get Compete Magazine delivered to your door, visit CompeteMag.com.
When a video game is good, we will play all night. When a game is good, we will skip a meal or 3. We will call in sick, shut the blinds, and ignore the outside world. But when a game is bad, now that's just a giant waste of time. Gamefly before you buy. We deliver over 7,000 titles right to your mailbox. All you can play, just $8.95 to start. Play more with Gamefly. Product shown rated E through M.
The magazine that's brought you everything gay sports is now on the air.
Compete Radio. Log on to CompeteRadio.com. You're listening to Compete Radio.
Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Josh Fourier. In the studio with us is Joey Jacinto. Joey, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Now, it's the second annual flag football tournament in Palm Springs. It is the Duel in the Desert, Alfonso. Now, this is not like the usual flag football tournaments, right?
No. It's actually there is one other tournament in the country that I know of that is similar, which is called Fog Fest in San Francisco. Joey, why don't you tell us a little bit of how this tournament is different from every other flag football tournament out there?
Sure. Like you guys said, it's the second annual. The way it started is we kind of wanted to get together with the West Coast teams and just kind of have fun, because it's always very, very competitive. So we kind of see a different face and interact a little differently when it comes to the Gay Bowl or any big tournaments. So it actually started with the San Diego and the Phoenix teams at leagues, and they wanted to get together and just kind of throw the ball around, basically, is what it came down to. LA also wanted to join and be a part of it. So basically the way it works is anybody's invited, everybody can come, and the first...
Do you have to be on a team to play in it?
Well, you know of it because of the league, but you really don't have to. You don't have to be in any of the leagues. So I mean, even if anybody in Palm Springs or anybody wanted to come, you could have definitely joined. The way it works is everybody just comes together. We picked a couple captains and quarterbacks, and we kind of everybody fills out a form, and then that form we just kind of hand it out to the captains. There's no rhyme or reason how it's done and why it's done that way, and everybody just gets to play with each other. So it's kind of...
I beg your pardon?
Sorry.
So it's basically random selection?
It's a random... Yes,
it's drawn out of a hat? Or
yeah, I mean...
okay, so it's not like playground where I pick Joey.
That's what I was thinking.
No, because nobody really... I mean, when it comes to it, it's different. We really don't know the players out there, other than, so-and-so is from Phoenix and this and that. So... It's basically, like you said, drawn from a hat. We grab all the Phoenix teams, all their forms, and we hand 2 to the coach here, 2 to the coach here, 2 to the coach there, and then just kind of mix it up that way.
How many teams did you end up having? How many players were there?
There were a total of 6 teams of 10 to 12 players on each.
This was January 15th and the 16th, correct?
January 15th and 16th.
So do they just randomly mix people? Do they check for like what position so that you have a full team, or do you just get what you get and you do your best?
Well, at first they pick the quarterbacks.
Okay.
So anybody that wants to play the quarterback position or can play the quarterback position. And then after that, it's whoever, it's the luck of the draw, and everybody gets to play with,
Whoever,
exactly. And it's kind of fun because everybody will always joke around at the Gay Bowls, and we'll always say, "Oh, it'll be fun. It would be so much fun to play on your team, or for you to throw me a pass or anything like that." And this is kind of a great time to do that.
Now, before this year's tournament, you were going out there, but you said, "I don't know if I'm going to play or not." What happened?
Of course I played.
Of course you played. I knew it. I was like, whatever. Joey is not going to go to Palm Springs and not play football.
Who do you think you are, Brett Favre?
For you folks
I
out there
might,
who
I might.
don't
Exactly.
know, Joey will play football at the drop of a hat.
Exactly. And I hurt my hamstring, so I wasn't going to go out there and play. But it doesn't matter. Once you get out there and all your friends are out there wanting you to play, and it's like you're like a little kid. So there's no way you're going to tell
You're
me
like,
not to play.
no, I can't. I
Yeah,
can't
right.
twist my arm. Okay.
Exactly.
I can see that happening. Yeah.
So where is this going? Is it expected to grow in the coming years? Other cities are sending other players as well?
Well, the first year it was only like I said, L.A., San Diego, and Phoenix. This year we got we had players from Denver, New York, and I believe D.C. So players are coming from all over the country for this. I mean, especially East Coast during this time of the year, they want to get out of
or the
country.
North.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Now, it sounds like what's really cool about this is you don't have to worry about getting an entire team together if you want to go and play. You can, or you can have this new experience of playing with other players with different skills and different skill levels.
Yeah, I mean, definitely different skill levels. We know what everybody can do in our leagues, and so it's kind of fun to
Mix it up.
Yeah, to mix it up. Oh, so and so is good. So it'll be fun to play with that person. And I think it's kind of a reflection of what gay athletics is all about, because throughout the country we make friends. We play tournaments through nationwide, and we meet people nationally. So it's kind of fun to come together as friends first, and then compete and have a good time.
And there aren't a lot of annual flag football tournaments, correct? I mean, you've got Pride Bowl in Chicago, and then you've got the Gay Bowl. Is there anything I'm missing? Are there things that are out there as well?
Houston starting? I think last year they started a tournament, and I know this year there's going to be one. I want to say Fort Lauderdale, somewhere in Florida. I think it's Fort Lauderdale.
I think you're right.
Yeah, so it's picking up. I mean, it's definitely picking up. I know the Hellraisers want to start one here in Phoenix, so the tournaments are definitely picking up. But those were the most popular ones with Pride Bowl and Gay Bowl.
So what's up in the future? Is there anything in the near future, any tournaments or games that you're going to be in?
Any sports beyond football, even that you're going to be in. You play more than one.
Yes. Well, our league started for the Hellraisers 2 weeks ago.
And that's football?
Football, for flag football. And I know nationally all the leagues are starting up. I know registration and draft parties are coming up, pretty soon. The Cactus City League softball here in Phoenix, the first games will be on Sunday.
Oh, wow.
So that's starting up this week.
Perfect.
The Pride Bowl in Chicago is in June usually.
Yes,
and you guys have won that in the past.
We've won the last two.
Okay.
Yeah, so we've won the last two out of the three.
So is that the next big thing the Hellraisers are gearing up for?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, once we play in the league's it's kind of fun to get new people out, new talent. We definitely have more talent. So this way, those are the big tournaments, and that's what everybody kind of looks forward to.
All right. So what do you think about the Super Bowl? I had to ask.
The Super Bowl was great. I mean, it was exactly. Thank you, buddy, for picking Pittsburgh.
I'm glad that I could make a difference.
He did pick Pittsburgh as the loser. So
no, I picked them to win.
Yes.
Well, for the rest of us, we kind of know you're picking the
hand
loser.
over the heart. Come on. Well, the Cowboys weren't playing, so he went with his next wonderful pick, right? Steelers have your heart after the Cowboys?
No, he actually said that he wants Green Bay to win, but he thinks that the Steelers are going to.
Yeah. Well, it was actually a great pick. I mean, most people had the Steelers winning it all because it was going to be a close game, and then Big Ben at the end, you know what he does. But I'm glad. Like I said, I didn't want Big Ben to be in the top of the world, and I'm glad that Aaron Rodgers got the MVP of the Super Bowls.
I'm sure you were glad. Yes.
I was very happy with that. So it's kind of nice to see him get out of the shadow of the whole.
But don't you think? I mean, immediately after the Super Bowl that night and the next morning, all over the radio and on ESPN, everyone's now anointed Aaron Rodgers as an elite quarterback, and maybe he is, but if Ben Roethlisberger had driven the Steelers down and scored a touchdown, Aaron Rodgers wouldn't be that elite quarterback. So it's just that little hair of difference, and all of a sudden, Aaron Rodgers is great.
Well, I mean, like they said, I mean, it's a game of inches. So, I mean, it could have gone either way, like you said, but that's what sports is all about. It's the best reality show out there because it's not predictable.
He's now been anointed by Mickey Mouse, and so he has to be great. I mean, let's face it.
But I think it's great for Aaron Rodgers to be in that position. But we honestly, the thing that kind of upsets me is that everybody always says, well, you're out of the shadow of Brett Favre. You know what? No, you're not. Because Brett Favre is still one of the best quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I mean, he's one of the best quarterbacks
quarterbacks
of the NFL history. So you're not in that league. And yes, you took your team to the Super Bowl and won it all in 3 years, but you're still not at that same level.
There's kind of a difference between out from behind somebody's shadow and somebody else's time being up. And I think maybe that's what it is Brett Favre's time was up, and now it's Aaron Rodgers' time.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of truth to that. I think, since Favre left a few years ago, since he left the Packers, I should say, there was always, what has Aaron Rodgers done to make this his team? Brett Favre had left such a legacy there, and now maybe he's done it. There's always the shadow of Brett Favre, just like the Cowboys always have, Roger Staubach or Troy Aikman or, Joe Montana. Even Steve Young got a Super Bowl, but he's still,
He never quite made it to the same level, I don't think.
He didn't have the opportunity, but no. I mean, he's not Joe Montana. So maybe Aaron Rodgers has done that.
Mm-hmm.
So, Joey, I have to ask, it was our topic in the first segment. What did you think about Christina Aguilera and her national anthem performance?
Well, I mean, I know everybody's making fun of, that she forgot the words, but I love Christina, and it's a hard stage to be on.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a hard song to sing.
It's a hard song to sing, and it's a hard stage to be on.
And there you have it.
Well, Joey, thanks so much for being here. We need to take a quick break. We'll be right back with the news and more Sports Pop on Compete Radio.
Compete Radio. Log on to CompeteRadio.com.
When a video game is good, we will play all night. When a game is good, we will skip a meal or 3. We will call in sick, shut the blinds, and ignore the outside world. But when a game is bad, now that's just a giant waste of time. Gamefly before you buy. We deliver over 7,000 titles right to your mailbox. All you can play, just $8.95 to start. Play more with Gamefly.
Marlon Brando, Jimmy Dean, on the cover of a magazine. Grace Kelly, Harlow Jean, picture of a beauty queen. Jean Kelly, Fred Astaire, Ginger Rogers, dance on air. They had style, they had grace. Rita Hayworth gave good face. Lauren Catherine Manitou, Betty Davis, we love you. Ladies with an attitude, fellas that were in the mood. Don't just stand there, let's get to it. Strike the pose, there's nothing to it.
Gentlemen, you booked your hotels on Orbitz. Well, the price went down, so you're all getting a check for the difference.
Thank you. Introducing Hotel Price Assurance, where if another Orbitz customer books the same hotel for less, we send you a check for the difference automatically.
You're listening to Compete Radio.
Welcome back. I'm Buddy Early, and this is another Compete Sports News Brief brought to you by Sideline Sports Bar in Fort Lauderdale. With spring training around the corner, the biggest story doesn't involve free agents or starting rotations, but rather the New York Mets' legal and financial troubles. Mets owner Fred Wilpon and the rest of the team's ownership group are being sued for $300 million for allegedly using phantom profits from Bernie Madoff's Ponzi scheme to fund the day-to-day operations of the team and other holdings. It's possible the owners will be fined an additional $700 million or more in damages for their connection to Madoff. The lawsuit was filed last week by Irving Picard, the court-appointed trustee seeking Madoff's assets for the scheme's victims. Earlier this week, it was reported that Wilpon is seeking an investor to take on 20 to 25% of the baseball franchise, presumably as a means to raise funds if this monstrous settlement turns out the way many are expecting. Madoff pleaded guilty in 2009 and is serving a 15-year prison sentence. In Olympic news, emails were made public earlier this week that are not favorable to the Vancouver Olympic Committee and the IOC. The emails reportedly indicate that officials were long aware before the 2010 Winter Games that athletes could be badly injured or worse because of speeds that were possible in the various sliding events. You might remember the horrific video of Georgian luger Nodar Kumarashvili, who flew off the track during a practice run and was killed when he struck a steel pole. The luger was moving at speeds of nearly 90 miles per hour on the track at the Whistler Sliding Center. And these documents reiterate that speeds like that far exceeded what was originally planned. And also, as you head into the weekend, Compete listeners, keep your eye on some important college basketball contests. With just over a month remaining until Selection Sunday, a number of, quote, bubble teams find themselves with an opportunity to take down a ranked opponent, which would certainly improve their stock for the NCAA tournament. On Saturday, Baylor travels to Austin to take on third-ranked Texas. Baylor has a very tough schedule down the road. Just came off an impressive win against Texas A&M, but is going to have to do some more for the remainder of the season to get off the bubble and into the tournament. Also on Saturday, Clemson travels to Chapel Hill to take on the Tar Heels. Clemson is off the bubble for most bracketologists, but with a 6-4 conference record and a chance with a signature win against North Carolina, that could put them in the tournament. Also Sunday, watch out as Marquette takes on number 11 Georgetown. This has been Buddy Early with your Compete Sports News Brief, once again brought to you by Sideline Sports Bar in Fort Lauderdale.
Compete Radio.
Welcome back. I'm your host, Josh Fourier. This segment is brought to you by the second annual International Gay Polo Tournament in Wellington, Florida, which will be on April 2nd. Now, if you just joined us, earlier in the show, we were talking about Super Bowl and how it's the year of failure. I think, Alfonso, I think that's how you put it.
Yeah, it's the year of the fail.
Year of the fail. Well, speaking of fail, I'm sure, without a doubt, we all remember the beautiful Roseanne Barr.
Yes.
So now I think,
Oh, please.
I mean, it's just,
Could somebody flush her down?
I think I played rugby against her once.
It was in New York at Bingham Cup.
so on the bright side, it could have been worse.
Really?
It could have been much worse. Oh, poor Roseanne.
She could have been naked?
She didn't grab her crotch.
Good heaven.
No.
Roseanne did, but Christina didn't. So.
No.
So
So
that's what you meant. Okay.
we touched on this a little bit in the first segment of the show, but with the Super Bowl, there was a pretty, substantial seating issue where over 1,000 people didn't get to see the game.
Well, I think there were two games being played. I think there was the team that was playing football, and then I think the Super Bowl committee was playing musical chairs. Because you keep taking them away and somebody falls down.
Well, they were playing unsafe seating with their chairs because apparently they were adding some temporary seating to the stadium, and it was just deemed unsafe, and they couldn't put people in those seats, which is how we ended up with this big mess for these people who traveled, spent airline tickets, hotel money.
Well, one of these guys, I think I read in an article that he paid like $3,900 for each of 2 tickets to the Super Bowl.
That sounds about right.
And couldn't find a seat. Maybe there's something wrong with me. I can't compute spending that much money.
I'm sure Buddy can.
If I had that kind of money, it would not be a difficult decision. This is all about greed because they were trying to put in about, I think you said
1,200
temporary seats. And the reason they were doing that was, to make a little more money, but even more importantly, they wanted to set the record for largest attendance at a Super Bowl. Sure. They fell short by, I think, 400 or 500 in the end. But this came to bite them in the butt. Yeah.
Well, they should have had this section sponsored by Trojan, safer seat. Would have been the slogan of the.
It's kind of sad because all this for $10,000. That's about what it amounted to for the stadium.
Well, no, in response to this issue, the NFL did come back and they said, you know what, we are so sorry, but safety comes first. To compensate, we're going to give you 3 times your ticket value. Mm-hmm. The people basically said, you know what, screw you. We came to see the game, not to get our money back.
Well, this is what they got. They're actually Brian McCarthy, known as NFL PR guy on Twitter. He mentioned that they were getting access to the field post game. They got free merchandise, which is probably worth about the value of the ticket itself. Food, beverage, like you said, the $2,400, and free Super Bowl 46 tickets, which means they get to spend all that money all over again.
And who's Ryan McCarthy?
Brian McCarthy. He's the
still don't
PR.
know who it is.
He was the PR guy from the NFL. Like I said earlier, he's NFL PR guy on Twitter.
Well, now, Connie, you made a pretty interesting point in the concept of spending over $3,000 for a ticket.
That blows my mind.
Well, there's something
there's
something to be said about that it really isn't an issue of money or anything material. The issue is actually getting to be at the game and watching the game. And
these people are not, they can afford, I guess most of them, the $3,000 price tag, but the not being able to experience the game the way they want to, that's the big deal.
Yeah,
the money part is not.
It's that 8-foot chunk of wood you saw at Cisco Home at our of the year event. That's what that is to them.
It's like
they're telling secrets about me.
It's like it's almost comparable to going to a concert and not being able to go in, and instead the rep is saying, well, we'll give you the CD to make up
But the
for
truth
it.
of the matter is, if you went to a movie theater, it was on fire, you wouldn't want to stay there, right? So, as bad as it sounds, they just shouldn't have sold them the tickets, but you can't let people be in a place if it really is unsafe.
Well, one of the things that everyone needs to understand, though, is that it's more than, and someone alluded to this earlier, it's more than the price of the ticket that someone spent, because you and I cannot buy a ticket to the Super Bowl.
Right.
You have to be a season ticket holder for one of the 32 teams. And amongst those 32 teams, each one of those teams gets 1% of the ticket allotment, and they divvy those up usually through a lottery of their season ticket holders. And some of those teams have required their season ticket holders to buy 3 years of season tickets in order to qualify for
Good.
Super Bowl. I mean, you have to jump through hoops. So whenever any of my friends say, "Buddy, someday we should go to a Super Bowl," I just want to smack them because you can't just buy tickets. And yeah, you can get a face value ticket to the Super Bowl for $500 or so, but you have to spend so much more and be lucky to even get the opportunity.
And
for
it
that.
was like I said earlier about people spending $100,000 on a season ticket to be able to go to that.
Well,
yeah,
that brought up a question. They kept doing these commercials about the guys who have never missed a Super Bowl.
Right.
How do they get their tickets? Because they've never missed one.
Well, for one, they've got to be lifetime season ticket holders for some franchise.
Okay.
That's a certainty.
And so their franchise probably knows they're going to be there and kind of gives them.
I'm
first
assuming
pick.
after 45 years, maybe they have some sweetheart deal. I don't know, because
That could be.
usually, like I said, even with the season ticket holders for, say, the Cardinals or the 49ers or wherever, there's only a certain amount of tickets available to those people. So how they divvy them up is, I guess, up to each franchise.
Now, Buddy, as the editor of the only gay sports magazine in the world, what did you do with your tickets?
Yeah, I donated them to blind homeless youth. I don't know if they made it to Dallas or not. It was my problem.
and I'm so glad you mentioned that because nobody talks about blind homeless youth.
Well, okay, back to the seating issue. I wanted to say just one thing. The NFL gave two options to the fans, basically. The first option was 3 times the ticket value. The second option was basically more of like airfare, hotel room, trip back to the next game. Well, these fans that were affected by this are now lashing back with a lawsuit, apparently suing the NFL for $5 million? It's either $1 million or $5 million. Is kind of a mini class action lawsuit in a sense against the NFL for this.
Where's our facts checker?
Is it the NFL or is it also including the Dallas people?
They're suing the
They've
Dallas
joined
Cowboys, the NFL, and Jerry Jones.
Okay.
I'm curious because I'll be honest, and I haven't followed this story much because it really doesn't concern me. I don't care about people missing the Super Bowl because I saw it. But I'm wondering if these people who bought these tickets were well aware that these were temporary seating. Was there any kind of disclaimer up front? I don't know.
Well, there were even people that were put in the metal folding chairs that are now part of this lawsuit because they're saying they were supposed to have premium seating, and instead they're put in a folding chair, and it's just...
Well, it was kind of premium. It just wasn't good premium.
Well, wasn't there some sort of disclosure? Whenever you buy an airline ticket, there's always a disclosure that says they can change it for whatever reason, so that may be part of what they're saying, too.
Well, this is definitely an issue that is not going away anytime soon. Apparently, it's a multi-million-dollar lawsuit now against the NFL. So we'll keep an eye on it and see where it goes. But I thought it was interesting, the amount of people at least that were affected by this seating debacle. I was trying to load the webpage to see if it was 1 million or 5 million. We'll find out. We'll put it online.
Can anyone, because I was at a crowded sports bar and I couldn't hear the halftime show, but I glanced up at it at one point and I said, "Oh, that looks like it might be pretty cool." And come to find later that most people thought it was not good.
See, I thought the halftime show was pretty cool. It was interesting. Now we know the Black Eyed Peas don't put on a Britney Spears performance, and personally, I didn't think it was any worse than Bruce Springsteen, and which I thought was a really boring performance. You'd have to be a really big fan of Bruce Springsteen. I thought it was at least interesting, but there were some Twitter comments that were made in response to the Black Eyed Peas halftime show, and I just wanted to share a few of them with some of our listeners, if we can do that. One of them is, I guess the Black Eyed Peas didn't read the warning on that bottle of auto-tune.
Oh, jeez.
There was a lot of auto-tune in that performance.
Oh, yeah. That's the thing now, auto-tune.
The next one, listening to the Black Eyed Peas made my ears feel like I was in a bathroom with Ben Roethlisberger. Yeah, ouch. The second quarter game clock is basically a countdown to hell. And finally, this one is going to, you're going to love this one, buddy. I got a feeling that tonight will be the Black Eyed Peas' last big live performance for a while. The fat Tron dancers didn't help.
Oh.
You know, those Twitter people need to learn how to speak their feelings.
Wow. Yeah. So I guess it wasn't good.
Fine.
I thought it was all right. You know,
it was better than I thought it was.
Yeah, I did get to see it.
I don't know. Log on to CompeteRadio.com for Black Eyed Peas. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Compete Radio. Log on to CompeteRadio.com.
Greetings, loved ones. Let's take a journey.
I know a place where the grass is really greener, warm, wet and wild. There must be something in the water. Sipping gin and juice, laying underneath the palm trees. And then the birds break their necks, trying to creep a little sneak peek.
What?
You could travel the world, but nothing comes close to the golden coast. Once you party with us, you'll be falling in love. California girls were unforgettable. Daisy Dukes, bikinis on top, sun-kissed skin so hot from your popsicle. California girls were undeniable. Fine, fresh beers, we got it on lock. West Coast represent, now put your hands up. Sex on the beach, we don't mind selling our stilettos. We freak in my Jeep, some taggy dog on the stereo. You could travel the world, but nothing comes close to the golden coast. Once you party with us, you'll be falling in love. California girls were unforgettable. Daisy Dukes, bikinis on top, sun-kissed skin so hot from your popsicle. California girls were undeniable. Fine, fresh beers, we got it on lock. West Coast represent, now put your hands up.
Tone tan, fit and ready. Turn it up, cause it's getting heavy. Wild, wild, West Coast. These are the girls I love the most. I mean the ones, I mean like she's the one. Kiss her, touch her, squeeze her buns. The girl's afraid she drive a Jeep. You live on the beach. I'm okay, I won't play. I love the bay, just like I love LA. Venice Beach and Palm Springs. Summertime is everything. Homeboys banging out. All that ass hanging out. Bikinis, martinis, no wings, just the king and the queen. Katie, my lady. Look at here, baby. I'm all up on you, cause you represent California.
Girls were unforgettable. Daisy Dukes, bikinis on top, sun-kissed skin so hot from your popsicle. California girls were undeniable. Fine, fresh beers, we got it on lock. West Coast represent, now put your hands up.
California girls, man. I really wish you all would be California girls.
You're listening to Compete Radio.
Welcome back to the show. During the commercial break, I found the Black Eyed Peas, their halftime show.
Do you want to keep them or do you want to lose them?
I don't know, that's not that bad.
I didn't think it was
fine
bad.
to me.
I mean, it's like somebody said it was an overabundance of auto-tune, but, you know, that's most of their music.
Well, like a concert.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't think it was better than I expected it to be, actually.
Yeah, I don't know. Didn't sound bad to me, but what do I know?
Well, I think all this access to information has given us a lot more access to complaining.
Isn't that
Yes.
great?
And being able to complain somewhat anonymously on the Twitter.
Exactly.
Yeah. So there's a lot going on. This segment is brought to you by the original GLBT Expo, which is going to be March 12th to 13th at the Jacob Javits Center in New York City. Did I say that right? Is it
Yes,
Javits
you
or
did.
Javits?
Javits.
I got it right. Wow. That's rare.
And you even have to ask the fax team how to pronounce that.
No. So, gay sports around the world. I mean, we have a lot of interesting things coming up. Eric, do you want to start us with the top of the list?
Well, one of the things that maybe many of our listeners don't know about is that we have the Compete Prize team, and it is comprised of members of the Compete Radio crew, and we are out every weekend giving out prizes.
You've got to quit giving me away.
I think last week Alfonso was out at one of the locations giving out some prizes, and this week it's going to be me. I'm going to be in Tucson, Arizona, passing out Compete prizes such as T-shirts, DVDs, CDs, and more. Of course, you want to look for the Compete Mobile to get your share of the goodies. So that's always a fun one to talk about.
So what is the Compete Mobile and how do we find it?
Well, the Compete Mobile is going to be a silver Hummer, and just look for the silver Hummer with the Compete Sports Radio on the back.
Oh, is it a logo?
It is a piece of white paper with a Xerox copy of our logo on it.
Now, are you going to Twitter where you are?
I will be on Facebook.
You're going to do
Twittering this weekend.
You're going to check in on the Facebook?
I will. I will check in Twitter all weekend long for everybody.
All right. So all the homos in Tucson, look out for the Compete Hummer, which will be right around the corner.
And try not to get run over.
Get ready to be Twitter.
Oh, are you driving, Eric?
driving.
Oh, Eric's driving. Yeah, be careful.
The streets.
But I'm more excited about the next event that I'm going to talk about today, Josh. Ken from Steel Gym is going to be in Phoenix on the 18th, 19th, and 20th, and Ken is a super all-star for Compete Magazine.
And he also has an article coming up in the magazine, doesn't
One
he?
of our all-stars.
Absolutely. And what's the topic, buddy?
Ooh, in our March issue, Ken's writing all about sex.
It's a great article.
It is a great article, really.
Excuse me, but I have something I want to read here that I wrote especially for the segment. And then you guys can elaborate after.
Okay.
Howdy, partners.
Oh, that's really good.
That just flows right off the tongue. I'm sorry.
Come meet Ken from Steel Gym and your Compete Radio gang Saturday and Sunday, February 19th through 20th at the Roadrunner Rodeo at Rawhide in Chandler. Everyone that subs by our booth wins a free trial subscription to Compete Magazine, courtesy of Compete Magazine and Buddy Early, the editor.
Oh, I heard my name.
Wow.
That's because it's coming out of your paycheck, buddy. So I wanted to make sure everyone knew that you were responsible for that.
Well, you know, that weekend I'm actually going to be in New York City, and I'm going to be seeing the play Lombardi, which is a new play on Broadway about Vince Lombardi, legendary coach. And we have some tickets that we can give
Why don't you
away.
read that tonight?
You know what? I'm going off the fly. I'm just, on the fly here. Just gonna. I'm going to be attending either February 18th or 19th. The play Lombardi, and we have some tickets to give away to the first person to email radio@competenetwork.com and put Lombardi, that's Lombardi, in the subject line. You'll win 2 free tickets to the show in New York City next week.
Spelling does not count, but I want to say at the rodeo they're going to meet Joey Jacinto is going to be wearing cowboy boots and a cowboy hat. He told Connie and I today.
Yes.
So if you want to meet Joey Jacinto, come out and see the whole Compete Radio team.
Is that all he'll be wearing?
We'll talk about that next week.
Okay. There's a lot more going on. Be sure to log on to CompeteRadio.com for news, information, hot topics, and more, especially the events. Wow, I never thought I would hear the words "howdy, partner" come out of Eric's mouth.
Oh, I'm not surprised.
That's intense. All right, well, that was a good show. Super Bowl last week. We have lots of events coming up in the future.
Well, I actually really quick need to make a very quick correction from one of my sports news briefs. As soon as I said it, I thought it sounded wrong. Bernie Madoff is serving a 150-year prison sentence, not 15 years. Big difference. So I just wanted to correct that.
Can I say one
Bernie
quick
wrote
thing?
in and said he liked it, though.
Speaking of Super Bowl, there's some great bowling tournaments this weekend around the U.S. The Gasparilla Annual Games Mixed Event in Tampa, Florida, Sweetheart Invitational in New Haven, Connecticut, and the Texas Roll-Off Tournament in Fort Worth, Texas.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. We will also put those up on CompeteRadio.com. On behalf of myself and the entire crew here at Compete Radio, thank you so much for listening. Again, CompeteRadio.com. Log on, listen 24 hours a day. We'll see you next time.
Bye.